More than 13 million tons of animal hides are harvested worldwide each year, becoming a core raw material for fashion, furniture, automobiles, and high-end accessories, powering a market worth around $450 billion. Behind it lies a system operating like a global machine. Tanneries compete with processing technologies precise down to thousandths of a millimeter, while Asia, Europe, and Latin America vie for million-dollar contracts. In this video, join us as we uncover the transformative journey of a material once dismissed as a low-value byproduct, and how it has risen to become one of the most economically significant materials today. Nicknamed the king of the global meat industry, beef cattle hide, the part least talked about, accounts for up to 15% of the total economic value of each animal. Its rebirth begins with tons of raw hides separated from the carcass, still moist, still fatty, still carrying tissue residues. Before reaching this point, modern skinning techniques in processing plants preserve nearly the entire surface area of the hide, leaving only a thin layer of flesh attached. At the processing facility, high-pressure water jets are sprayed evenly across the hide to wash away all impurities while bringing its moisture level back to balance, helping limit shrinkage during the deeper treatment stages. From here, the soaking drums, massive steel cylinders holding water 2 to 3 times the weight of the hides, initiate the first transformation. The drum rotates slowly, creating a continuous circulation that allows water and mild chemical agents to penetrate the fiber network, causing the hide to expand from the inside out. This expansion naturally loosens the hair from its keratin structure without heavy abrasion, exposing a clean, raw surface ready for the fleshing machine to remove any remaining fat and tissue and bring the hide to a uniform thickness before tanning. Next comes the most critical stage, chrome tanning. Inside the chrome drum, trivalent chromium ions, chrome 3, bond with collagen, locking the fiber network in place and compressing the entire stabilization process into less than 2 days. The result is wet blue, a semi-finished hide with its signature blue tint created by chromium complexes. Immediately after, retanning and dyeing continue to push color deep into each collagen fiber, giving premium leather its softness, durability, and exceptional abrasion resistance. Few people know that raw cattle hides are among the United States' strongest agricultural export commodities, surpassing even cotton and fresh pork, products traditionally regarded as cornerstones of American agricultural exports. No longer limited to wool, sheepskin is emerging as a new value driver, pushing the global shearling industry past $25 billion per year. In semi-arid livestock regions like Australia, the shearling hub of the southern hemisphere, sheep are raised on fiber-rich pasture, supplemented with hay, grains, and trace minerals to stabilize wool fibers and skin quality. However, once value shifts toward the hide, 2 risks become critical: parasites that damage hair follicles and abnormal moisture that causes dirt accumulation, both of which can slash the value of shearling by up to half right at the farm. When processing begins, the carcass is suspended on an overhead rail and fed into a rotary de-hiding machine, where mechanical clamps secure the body as the rotating drum applies consistent pulling force. By controlling tension and speed, the hide is removed in one continuous sheet, minimizing cut lines and preserving the integrity of the collagen layer, along with the fine wool. From this point on, these intact pelts become the central focus of the tanning process, where raw hides still carrying traces of blood, capillaries, and thin flesh must be completely removed in the drum, without disturbing even the microscopic structure of the hair roots. Unlike cattle hides, which have dense collagen and high mechanical resistance, sheepskin is thin and rich in lanolin, requiring the entire tanning process to operate at lower pH, gentler mechanical action, and in a much narrower temperature range. A tiny deviation can trigger collagen shrinkage, surface discoloration, or wool collapse. The very reasons premium shearling can be up to 3 times more expensive than smooth leather. After tanning, the natural wool, prone to uneven curl and inconsistent distribution, must go through a specialized wool finishing machine. Using a slow-rotating pressing roller combined with a gentle stream of warm air, the machine straightens, fluffs, and equalizes wool density, creating the thick, smooth, resilient surface that defines luxury shearling. What many people don't know is that a high-grade sheepskin can increase human body warmth by up to 12% in cold environments. But in return, every finished shearling pelt consumes up to 70 liters of water and generates nearly 1 kilogram of solid tanning waste, raising enormous questions behind the comfort it delivers. In Southeast Asia, the region supplying most of the world's python skins to the European market, each hide represents the culmination of an entire life cycle, earned through the constant risks faced by those who raise these reptiles that can grow several meters long. Python farms are built with thick walls, steel-locked doors, and individual enclosures. Every gap must be under 1 to 2 centimeters, because anything wider allows a python to slip through and escape with constricting force that is extremely difficult to control. Their diet consists of rats, rabbits, or small poultry, fed every 5 to 7 days to maintain steady growth and preserve the pigmentation on each diamond-shaped scale, the key factor determining the value of the hide. Stress or malnutrition can dull the pattern, drastically reducing its commercial worth right at the farm. After 12 to 18 months, when size and pattern reach their prime, the snake is anesthetized for processing. Because python skin forms a large tubular structure, the removal begins with a straight incision along the belly. The rest is peeled by hand, slowly and evenly, to preserve the signature scale zones, especially the dorsal section, which defines the luxury tier. The skin is then washed, degreased, and lightly tanned for several hours to stabilize the collagen without blurring the microscopic pattern, something synthetic materials still cannot replicate perfectly today. Yet only about 10 to 15% of python skins meet premium grade standards, despite the enormous risk and labor involved. This uniqueness, no two hides ever share the same pattern, combined with limited supply, keeps python leather priced far above many conventional hides in the world of luxury fashion. Goats raised in Rocky Mountain regions or semi-desert climates typically produce hides with a tougher epidermis and higher abrasion resistance, while goats raised in humid lowlands tend to yield softer, more elastic leather. This is why the industry draws clear distinctions between African goatskin, Middle Eastern goatskin, and South Asian goatskin. Husbandry practices have a direct impact on hide quality, starting with skin parasite levels, especially ticks and mites, which must be tightly controlled, as even a small lesion can downgrade the hide during tanning. In processing, animals are ideally handled at 6 to 12 months of age for hide collection, when the fiber structure has stabilized but has not yet thickened like that of fully mature goats. After harvesting, the hides are preserved either with salt or air drying depending on the country. In India and Ethiopia, traditional sun drying still accounts for a large share due to limited electricity and cold storage capacity. Once in the tannery, goatskins undergo the liming step to open the fibers. The key difference is that goatskin swells more uniformly than cowhide due to its finer fiber architecture. Plant-based tannins such as sumac or mimosa are often used for vegetable tanned goatskin, giving it a light natural aroma and high durability, ideal for premium shoes, gloves, and bookbinding. After the base tanning stage, goatskin is shaved down to a precise thickness of just 0.6 to 1.2 millimeters. taking advantage of its characteristically fine yet durable fiber structure. The surface is then drum-dyed, allowing the natural grain to show through without requiring heavy coatings. Finally, the leather is replenished with oils, dried, and finished with a thin, protective layer, creating a dry-to-the-touch feel that remains tough and flexible. The very reason it has become a favorite material for premium shoes, wallets, and gloves. Nicknamed the leather bird, the ostrich derives up to 70% of its economic value from its hide, a material defined by its iconic raised follicle bumps, forming a natural 3D pattern that no tropical leather or synthetic material has ever been able to replicate. On the farm, ostriches are raised on a diet rich in fiber, grains, and minerals to maintain skin integrity. They are harvested at around 14 months of age, when the hide reaches ideal thickness, elasticity, and well-defined quill bumps suitable for industrial processing. At the tannery, the hides are first packed in a thick layer of salt to stabilize collagen, then rigorously graded by size and bump clarity, factors that determine whether a hide enters the luxury handbag and wallet segment or is rejected from premium categories altogether. The subsequent wet processing stage restores softness before chrome tanning and alum retanning build tensile strength, thermo-mechanical stability, and allow the leather to last up to 20 years. After tanning, the hides are stretched and dried under controlled conditions to retain oils and surface stability, then moved to the dyeing stage, where each piece can take on hundreds of different shades. Recently, the global ostrich leather market has seen significant disruption as U.S. sanctioned tariffs interrupted trade flows, revealing the industry's heavy dependence on South Africa, a semi-arid ecological hub that supplies nearly 70% of the world's ostrich leather. Have you ever seen a luxury handbag casually swimming underwater? Sounds impossible, right? But that's exactly what a crocodile is before it becomes a $20,000 accessory in the premium leather world. Here, farms operate as fully controlled systems. Each animal is raised in individual pens and fed fresh fish to ensure the belly area develops with an even tone and free of blemishes. Leather processing begins when crocodiles reach 2 to 3 years of age. They are electrically stunned to render them completely immobile before entering the skinning area. Here, the belly cut method is used to preserve the largest, most uniform panel of scales. The hide is then separated manually using a surgical-grade thin blade with slow, deliberate movements to avoid micro-tears. One crucial step is defatting. The deep-seated lipids between collagen bundles must be removed entirely. Even 3 to 5% residual fat is enough to cause uneven tanning, blotchy coloring, and long-term structural weakness. Next, the hide enters chrome tanning to stabilize collagen, create suppleness, and improve tensile strength. After tanning, each hide is thinned to below 1 mm, while keeping the scale pattern intact. Inside modern ateliers, crocodile leather is gently heated to open the grain, then coated with an ultra-thin protective finish that locks in the sheen and enhances the visual depth of the scales. This finish is what gives crocodile leather its core appeal, a look that's rare, expensive, and unmistakably unique. Driven by this demand, even though only about 1.5 million skins are used each year in luxury fashion, their market value still reaches $4 billion, solidifying crocodile leather as one of the highest margin exotic materials in the world. One of the most terrifying ecological disasters on the planet didn't come from a great flood or nuclear war, but from 24 rabbits. In 1859, Thomas Austin, an English landowner living in Victoria, Australia, simply wanted to recreate the hunting traditions of his homeland. He released a few dozen European rabbits into the wild, unaware that he had just triggered a ticking biological time bomb. Within just 70 years, the wild rabbit population had exploded into the billions, spreading at a rate of up to 100 kilometers per year. They wiped out native ecosystems, destroyed grasslands, collapsed food chains, and caused soil erosion on an unprecedented scale. Once lush meadows turned into barren wastelands. The Australian government even built a rabbit-proof fence over 200 kilometers long, but it was in vain. Today, despite the use of myxomatosis and RHDV viruses, the feral rabbit population remains around 300 million, making them one of the most successful invasive species in human history. Feral rabbits may look harmless, but they are in fact one of the most destructive invasive species ever recorded on Earth. They don't need sharp claws or deadly fangs to wreak havoc, just ever-growing teeth and a pair of expert digging legs. By devouring young grass, seedlings, and nearly every plant in their path, they strip native vegetation bare, leaving the land exposed and vulnerable to erosion. Their burrowing weakens the soil and causes buildings, roads, and farmlands to collapse in chunks. Even more terrifying is their explosive reproduction. A single pair can produce hundreds of offspring in a year. This fuels unstoppable population booms. And rabbits never come alone. As long as there's grass and no natural predators, they will arrive, multiply, dig, and silently transform fertile landscapes into ecological dead zones. Faced with a tiny creature that spreads like a plague, humans are forced into a silent yet brutal war, where even a single oat becomes a weapon. At dusk, bait-spreading machines roll slowly across the parched fields, leaving behind trails of fragrant oats. At first, it's just clean food, scattered nightly to lull the rabbits' famously sharp instincts. Once they grow used to the path and the familiar scent, the poison takes its place. 1080 or pindone, ruthless yet precise. And as darkness cloaks the land one by one, the rabbits fall into the sweet trap laid in silence, marking the beginning of a relentless eradication campaign. Even as rabbit numbers decline, the battle is far from over. Their burrows remain, a tangled network beneath the ground, causing subsidence, damaging infrastructure, and serving as ideal breeding grounds. To eliminate the threat at its root, humans must destroy the burrows, level the land, and erase any chance of resurgence. Using excavators or specialized plows, they slice through tunnels as deep as 0.6 meters, and in some cases over 2.5 meters, to collapse the entire hidden structure. If signs of rabbit activity persist at night, authorities resort to shooting or pumping toxic gas directly into the burrows to ensure complete extermination. When rabbits begin to scatter from destroyed burrow zones, hunting becomes the final method of control. Among the options, hunting with dogs is the most instinctive and effective approach. Breeds like beagles, terriers, and lurchers, known for their speed and sharp sense of smell, are trained to track and flush rabbits out of hiding. In the UK and Australia, this was once a long-standing tradition, where humans and dogs worked as a perfect hunting pair. Today, it's still considered an eco-friendly solution, replacing poison and traps. When a rabbit appears, the hunter has only seconds to react. Strength isn't required, only patience, fast reflexes, and a sharp eye for the terrain. Rabbits can change direction in an instant, often diving into thick underbrush where a clean shot is difficult. A skilled hunter is one who waits, stays calm, and pulls the trigger based on instinct and timing alone. Deep in the forest or along overgrown fields, handmade traps crafted from cardboard boxes and old metal wheels continue to work silently and effectively. To lure rabbits in, people often place tempting bait like carrots, grapes, or longans right at the trap's entrance. Cardboard traps are buried just beneath the surface, fitted with a simple trigger made from bamboo, plastic bottles, and sticks. Just one touch, and the lid snaps shut instantly. However, not all rabbits are a threat. When domesticated and raised under controlled systems, rabbits become a highly valuable livestock animal. Each year, the world produces around 1.2 million tons of rabbit meat, with China accounting for over 40% of global output, followed by France, Italy, and Spain. In these countries, rabbits are raised on modern farms using closed-loop systems, from breeding and care to harvesting, where every stage is optimized through technology. Thanks to this model, a single farm can produce tens of thousands of rabbits annually with exceptionally high survival rates. From a creature once seen as a natural menace, the rabbit has made a remarkable turnaround to become a clean, sustainable food source and a key link in modern agriculture. On modern farms, the breeding process is strictly controlled to ensure genetic quality and reproductive efficiency. Instead of allowing rabbits to mate naturally, artificial insemination is used. Semen is collected from healthy male rabbits and injected into females at the optimal time of ovulation. This method allows for better genetic management, increases conception rates up to 90%, and ensures a more uniform and healthy litter. Female rabbits are pregnant for about 30 days. Before giving birth, they are moved to a designated birthing area, quiet, clean, and lined with straw. Interestingly, even when a nest is prepared, the mother will instinctively pluck fur from her chest and belly to line the nest, creating a natural blanket to keep her hairless newborns warm during their most vulnerable days. Each litter usually consists of 6 to 8 kits. After birth, the young rabbits nurse for around 4 weeks before being weaned. This is a highly sensitive stage. Without proper temperature, humidity, and hygiene, the kits are at high risk of illness. To improve survival rates, many modern farms install sensors to monitor nesting conditions and detect any signs of abnormality as early as possible. The entire farm operates under a closed-loop system, allowing farmers to tightly control environmental factors such as temperature, humidity, lighting, and air quality. From the outside, the rabbit housing is arranged in neat, well-ventilated rows, clean and organized like a modern factory. Inside, instead of group housing, like in traditional methods, each rabbit is kept in an individual cage made of stainless steel or antibacterial plastic, durable and easy to clean. After each production cycle, all cages are cleaned using high-pressure water jets or flame sterilization to eliminate waste, loose fur, and potential pathogens. Along each row, automatic feeders and water dispensers are installed in front of every cage, allowing rabbits to eat and drink without competition or stress. Their diet typically includes nutrient-rich pellets combined with fresh greens, carrots, sweet potatoes, and apples, promoting both fast growth and healthy digestion. Rabbits have a highly sensitive digestive system, requiring a high fiber intake to maintain stable gut function. After around 75 to 90 days of farming, once rabbits reach their ideal weight of 2 to 2.5 kilograms, they are ready to be harvested and sent to the processing plant. Rabbits have one of the shortest grow-out cycles among meat-producing animals, allowing for rapid turnover and efficient space usage. Unlike animals like skunks, which require anesthesia, odor control, and pose a risk of biting, rabbits are gentle, calm, and easy to handle. Workers can simply pick them up by hand or using soft gloves, minimizing stress before slaughter to preserve meat quality. And now let's move on to the part we're most curious about. How are rabbits processed? Once delivered to the plant, rabbits enter a modern slaughter and processing line. They are hung upside down by their hind legs to keep them still, then stunned to prevent pain and reduce muscle spasms, ensuring consistent meat texture. Next, they move to the dehairing machine, which removes the outer fur layer without damaging the skin or flesh underneath. A small cut around the leg or neck, followed by a firm pull, can peel the skin off almost as easily as removing a banana peel. After skinning, internal organs are removed and the carcass is thoroughly cleaned. Finally, the body is divided into cuts like hind legs, loin, and neck, then vacuum sealed to maintain freshness and hygiene before reaching consumers. Are you curious how those cute, gentle rabbits end up being processed into food by humans? Rabbit meat is often grilled to preserve its natural sweetness and tenderness. It's typically marinated with garlic, pepper, olive oil, and herbs like rosemary or thyme, then cooked over charcoal or in an oven. When done, the outer layer turns golden and crispy, while the inside remains juicy and tender. The flavor of rabbit is often described as somewhere between chicken and pork, light yet flavorful, without being overly fatty. This dish is especially popular in Europe, commonly served during spring feasts or traditional festivals. In many Western countries, especially Germany, the United States, the United Kingdom, and Australia, rabbits are not only livestock animals but also cultural symbols closely associated with Easter, one of the most important holidays in the Christian calendar. The character of the Easter Bunny has become a familiar figure in the minds of millions of children, with the tale of a magical rabbit who hides eggs in the garden for children to find on Easter Sunday morning. The origins of the Easter Bunny can be traced back to 17th century Germany. The early Germans believed that rabbits symbolized new life, spring, and abundant fertility, since a single rabbit can give birth to dozens of offspring each year. Alongside this was the image of the egg, representing rebirth, hope, and light after a long, harsh winter. These two symbols merged to form a unique tradition: a rabbit that brings eggs, an idea that may sound illogical but holds deep meaning in folklore. Every autumn, nearly 3.4 million metric tons of apples pour into Washington, a large portion of which consists of utility-grade apples. Not beautiful enough for store shelves, yet perfectly crisp and sweet, making them the golden ingredient for surprisingly rich and flavorful juice batches. Before processing, the apples are moved into massive recirculating water tanks, where a combination of aeration and dilute chlorine is used to knock off dirt and impurities. The cleansing process then continues with high-pressure water jets, which meticulously scrub every small crevice on the skin. After the rigorous cleaning process is complete, the fresh apples are transferred onto a dewatering conveyor system. Here, they pass through a system of rotating and vibrating rollers, which helps completely drain the surface water. This process is often combined with a gentle stream of warm air to ensure the apples are dried most effectively, without compromising the quality of the fruit. Next, the apple mill operates as a cell disruption chamber. Inside, a rotating shaft is fitted with dozens of high-speed cutting blades or crushing hammers. As apples drop in, centrifugal force presses them against a stainless steel sieve, simultaneously crushing them and controlling the particle size. This specific design helps preserve the apple's full flavor without any metallic off-taste from rusty steel, minimizes heat generation, and protects the natural enzymes before pressing. Thanks to the intense pressure from a high-capacity screw press system, all the liquid is extracted from the mash. However, to achieve industrial-grade clarity, the decisive step is microfiltration using stainless steel pipes. At this stage, only small molecules like water and sugar can pass through. Up to 99% of microorganisms, enzymes, and colloidal particles are securely trapped on the surface. But did you know that the 100% juice label on apple juices today doesn't necessarily mean they are pressed entirely from fresh apples? Many products are actually reconstituted concentrates, or even blended with grape or pear juice to lower costs. Therefore, every drop of original, unadulterated apple juice is not only distinct in flavor, but also reflects a level of honesty that not every production line dares to uphold. In Mexico, aloe vera is an ingredient famous for its strict requirements regarding processing speed. From the moment it is cut from the field, the aloe must complete the entire processing stage in under 4 hours. Any delay will cause the enzymes in the leaves to spontaneously activate a degradation process, resulting in the gel turning brown and significantly reducing its biological activity. Starting this race against time, the leaves are moved straight to the production line, cleaned, and then dipped into a surface stabilization tank. This step is not merely soaking in water. It effectively creates an environment for immediate oxidation inhibition, helping keep the gel clear and slowing down decomposition. But to me, the most fascinating stage must be the cutting and filleting of the aloe flesh, as this step demands swiftness and the precise skill of material sensing, down to the millimeter. The aloe gel does not cling tightly to the rind but slides on an extremely thin layer of cells, only a few tens of micrometers thick. Therefore, the worker must simultaneously handle three key factors: positioning the knife close to the rind, maintaining an absolutely stable cutting angle, and controlling the knife's force, strong enough to fully separate the entire gel block, yet delicate enough not to pierce the flesh, containing all the expensive active compounds unique to aloe vera. Only the purest gel, which retains its biological structure and natural viscosity, is channeled into the extraction line for making gel or beverages. However, not everyone knows. Aloe vera products should ideally be consumed within a maximum of 1 to 3 months from the date of manufacture, because the longer they are stored, the more sharply the biological compounds decrease. Beverages can ferment, and gels will oxidize, even if their appearance remains completely normal. After harvesting, pineapples have a maximum of only 4 hours to be delivered to the factory before natural enzymes and sugars begin to soften the core. In the past, processing pineapples was a challenge due to the thick rind, deep-set eyes, and fibrous core. But today's state-of-the-art technology has thoroughly overcome these weak points, making the entire procedure significantly gentler. After being cleaned by high-capacity, swirling spray nozzles, workers only need to trim both ends to create flat surfaces. The delicate remainder is entrusted to the gripping mechanism and rotary blade system. Stable clamping pressure keeps the fruit perfectly centered, while the blade cuts precisely into the deep-set eyes while maintaining minimal material waste. The entire operation takes less than 5 seconds, replacing manual effort that could sometimes take tens of minutes. But that efficiency is not the final goal. On modern production lines, a single pressing cycle is sufficient to simultaneously strip the peel and core the center. Thanks to the self-centering blade system, the pineapple emerges from the machine as a cylindrical block, with a consistency error of only a few millimeters. From here, the pineapple is sliced and packaged entirely by machine, ready to enter the bags of pre-cut fruit, the highest consumption segment in the entire fresh fruit supply chain every day. Before becoming a sweet icon, the journey of the strawberry begins in the temperate fields of California, where farmers spend more than 6 months of continuous care before harvesting the first crop. Workers use small-tipped knives to remove the stem along the contour of the calyx, avoiding the white flesh inside, which bruises easily. Damaged berries are then discarded, since even a single bruised fruit in a batch can alter the flavor of the whole batch of jam and cause it to discolor more quickly. The next step is ultra-fast freezing at temperatures dozens of degrees below zero. This step is costly because it requires high-capacity freezing chambers running continuously, but in return, it is the key condition that allows all the water to crystallize into tiny ice crystals, helping lock in the bright red color, the sweet-tart balance, and the fibrous structure. The strawberries are thawed slowly to prevent breakage, then cooked at a temperature below boiling. This heat is enough to concentrate the sugars without destroying the organic acids and aromatic essential oils, the elements that create the true strawberry flavor. During cooking, the sugar gradually seeps into each layer of fruit, giving the jam a supple, glossy texture while still preserving the visible strands of fruit. completely different from jams made with gelatin, which have a uniform, depthless structure. When the jam reaches the ideal consistency, it is poured into glass jars and sealed with tin lids while still hot. The tin lids are not just aesthetic. Once tightened, they create an almost vacuum-like environment that prevents microbial intrusion without the need for preservatives, and they do not react with fruit acids, so the aroma and flavor remain intact over time. With this rigorous process, in Europe alone, where annual strawberry jam consumption reaches up to 480,000 tons, whole fruit strawberry jam has become so popular that nearly every household keeps a jar in the kitchen. Right after sugarcane juice leaves the press, it still contains fibers, dust, and tiny organic compounds, impurities invisible to the naked eye. For this reason, a very small amount of lime is added to pull all impurities down to the bottom. This reaction works much like the clarification process used in Heineken's beer, or the clarification of Tropicana's fruit juice, using a chemical agent to bind and coagulate impurities, allowing the sugarcane juice to become crystal clear and ready for the concentration stage. As the juice passes through a multi-stage evaporator system, only the water disappears. The sugars gradually thicken into a golden syrup. Most major brands invest heavily in this stage because the evaporation rate and vacuum level directly determine the color, aroma, and stability of the final sugar. In the crystallization phase, seed sugar crystals are added as initial nuclei for the solution to cling to, gradually growing into well-defined crystals. The formation of the first sugar grains is similar to the way sea salt or crystal glass is cultivated, a single guiding crystal for the entire batch. Once crystallized, the mixture enters a centrifuge where the crystals are separated from the molasses. Raw golden sugar retains 3 to 5% cane molasses, giving it a natural caramel aroma, while refined white sugar reaches 99.9% sucrose, precisely the purity level required by confectionery companies to ensure consistent flavor across millions of products. Even after centrifugation, the crystals remain slightly moist and prone to clumping, so they are dried to an optimal moisture level. For segments requiring absolute whiteness, such as sugar used for marshmallows or fondant, the crystals are even redissolved, filtered through multiple layers of materials, and centrifuged again to eliminate any remaining pigments. The final result is pure white sugar granules, so uniform that they look almost identical. But here's the interesting part: they were never truly identical. Natural variation between crystals is merely minimized through controlled crystallization and industrial grading systems, making them appear perfectly consistent to the human eye. Tomato sauce is among the most widely consumed vegetable-based products in the world, thanks to its limitless versatility. It appears in thousands of culinary recipes, but few people know that behind a seemingly simple bottle of sauce lies an entire industry operating under global standards. The journey begins when tens of tons of tomatoes are unloaded onto the factory's receiving conveyor to enter the washing stage. Here, the flume water system is considered the international standard. Water is pushed into a gentle, controlled current, strong enough to sweep away impurities, yet soft enough not to bruise the extremely delicate flesh. For tomato sauce, factories often prioritize the hot break method, rapidly heating the crushed tomatoes to a very high temperature to deactivate enzymes and preserve a stable thickness. The tomatoes are fed into industrial grinders, where steel blades turn them into a fine puree. Immediately afterward, the mixture is passed through sieves and membranes to remove seeds and skins, an essential step that ensures a smooth sauce, stable color, and long shelf life. The tomato puree is cooked in steam-jacketed steel kettles, stirred continuously to prevent burning. Meanwhile, onions and garlic are sautéed in sunflower oil. On average, a 1,000-liter batch of tomato sauce requires about 9 kilograms of onions and garlic before being blended with the tomato puree, along with salt, sugar, spices, and vinegar. For peanut butter, the process begins with shelled peanuts going straight into industrial roasters for 25 to 30 minutes. The temperature is automatically programmed to rise in stages, so the nuts dry evenly from the inside out. Once properly roasted, the peanuts pass through a soft shell removal system. Compressed air loosens the thin skins, and rollers separate the kernels without cracking them. A vibrating conveyor and suction fans remove the leftover flakes before an optical sorter scans up to 7,000 nuts per minute to eliminate burnt, unripe, or defective ones. Only the qualified peanuts move on to be ground by high-speed rotating mills, breaking down the protein oil structure to form a smooth, golden paste. At this stage, salt, sugar, or vegetable oil is added through precision dosing systems accurate to the gram. The mixture is then heated in a closed cooking chamber to achieve the ideal consistency and gently pasteurized to extend shelf life while preserving the roasted peanut flavor. The hot peanut butter is then filled into jars ranging from 250 grams to 1 kilogram, sealed in a sterile environment, rapidly cooled to stabilize its texture, labeled, and sent through a final inspection using cameras and weight sensors. Many people think kangaroos are cute and gentle animals until they see a tall, muscular one boxing with a human or locking a hunting dog in a headlock on the grasslands. In reality, kangaroos are quite combative and have a strong territorial instinct, especially during mating season. A fully grown male can reach up to 2 meters in height, weigh over 90 kilograms, with bulging muscles and kicks exceeding 850 psi, strong enough to break a grown man's bones. Kangaroos may be one of the most unique animals in the world, as few species are both national symbols and legally hunted and processed right on the land they represent. But there's a reason for that. With a population of nearly 50 million, twice the number of people in Australia, they are growing out of control. Traveling in herds, feeding heavily, and being active at night, kangaroos compete with livestock for food, break fences, trample crops, and cause damage amounting to billions of dollars. That's why, to control the population and reduce losses, around 1.5 to 2 million kangaroos are hunted annually under government plans. And among them, two of the most valuable things humans extract from kangaroos are: first, the red meat, famous for its rich flavor, natural leanness, and iron and protein content 2 to 3 times higher than beef. Second, the skin, which is highly prized in the luxury fashion industry by renowned brands like Gucci, Prada, and Louis Vuitton. But before becoming a resource for the meat and leather industries, the journey of every kangaroo begins with the most primal instinct: reproduction. Unlike many mammals, kangaroos do not have a fixed breeding season and can mate and give birth year-round. However, their reproductive cycle is heavily influenced by environmental conditions, particularly water and food availability. After heavy rains, when the grasslands turn green again, mating and birthing rates often surge. During mating season, males become even more combative and are always ready to engage in real boxing matches, standing upright on their hind legs, punching with their front limbs, then using their tail as a pivot to launch powerful double kicks with their hind legs. Each match can last several minutes, with blows strong enough to knock down an opponent. The goal of this process is not just to win the right to mate, but also to establish hierarchy and dominance within the group. Only the victor gets access to the females, while the defeated can only watch from the sidelines. Another unique aspect of kangaroo reproduction is that the mother carries her baby for only about 30 to 36 days. At birth, the joey is incredibly small, just 2 to 2.5 centimeters long, weighing less than 1 gram, and resembling a blind little bean. Many people mistakenly believe that kangaroos give birth inside the pouch, but in fact, the joey is born through the birth canal, like in other mammals. However, thanks to an extraordinary survival instinct, it can crawl on its own up to the mother's belly and into the front pouch, a warm, safe shelter, where it continues to grow for several more months. The joey remains in the mother's pouch for 6 to 8 months, a perfect nursery for its development. Even as it becomes fairly large, the mother patiently cares for it with dedication. Only when the young kangaroo becomes strong enough to stand and hop on its own does it begin to leave the safety of the pouch and embark on its journey to explore the outside world, just like a child taking its first steps. Importantly, the decision to leave the pouch is not forced by the mother, but is a natural process that follows the joey's own development. Have you ever seen a baby kangaroo poking its head out from its mother's pouch? But this journey of exploration lasts 18 to 24 months, nearly a third of their natural lifespan, until the joey reaches its ideal size, ready to be used for commercial purposes, from meat harvesting to leather production. To deal with kangaroos is no simple task. Their sharp senses, incredible speed, and unpredictable movements make hunting them one of the most challenging pursuits in the wilds of Australia. The first key to a successful hunt is location. In wild regions with high kangaroo density, licensed hunters in Australia use satellite maps to track the movement routes of kangaroo herds. Next, the golden time for hunting kangaroos is at night. As the daytime heat fades and darkness falls, kangaroos become more active. They leave their shelters to forage, move around more, and become less cautious, making them perfect targets for sudden, unannounced hunts. Unlike controlling wild boars in the United States, using bait traps is ineffective for kangaroos, as they are not easily attracted by food, and such methods can cause inhumane injuries, which are strictly prohibited under Australian government regulations. Instead, hunters use high-powered spotlights and scoped rifles to identify and target kangaroos from a distance, often shooting accurately from up to 150 to 200 meters away. And just like that, 30 to 70 kangaroos are harvested in a single night by each professional hunter, and around 2 million kangaroos disappear from the Australian landscape every year. The hunt is not only a reward for patience, precision, and a deep understanding of animal behavior, but also a legal and scientific method of population control, helping to maintain ecological balance and reduce conflict with humans. The kangaroos are then gathered using large trucks, preparing them for transport and the next stage of the processing chain. Kangaroo meat is pre-processed on-site to ensure maximum freshness. And here's something you might easily notice. The kangaroo's tail is never left intact. Because the tail serves as a quantifiable proof, each one corresponds to a hunted individual. Hunters are required to cut and submit the tail as a mandatory part of their harvest report, under strict government regulations designed to protect the long-term sustainability of wild kangaroo populations. One detail you might have overlooked is that some mother kangaroos may be accidentally hunted while they are still pregnant or nursing their young. That's why compassionate individuals and animal welfare groups, such as WIRES, Australia's largest wildlife rescue organization, step in to rescue and raise these orphan joeys with care and dedication. Despite rescue efforts, only about 10 to 20% of orphan joeys are found and survive after their mothers are hunted. This also raises questions about the balance between ethics and the exploitation of wild resources. Specialized trucks quickly transport the kangaroo meat to the processing facility. At the receiving area, each kangaroo carcass is hung onto an automated conveyor system, moving them through a series of inspection stations. Workers in protective gear and sanitary gloves perform a preliminary check on each carcass, closely examining the surface to detect any abnormalities or signs of substandard quality. Inside the factory, each kangaroo carcass is hung upside down and moved to the skinning station.